Sunday, Monday. That looks like it because it's on top. That's right. And you know what month that is?
Class is in session for 7-year-old Nicole Tucci, but there's no school bus, no school bell, and she calls her teacher Mom.
Does that sound right? No. The first girl. To me, homeschooling is an alternative method of teaching your children. Anything outside your typical brick and mortar school that we refer to, I think is considered homeschooling.
Nicole's mother, Diane Tucci, says there are as many reasons for homeschooling your children as there are people in the world.
My particular reason is because I think my daughter is a very unique individual, and I want to provide her an education based on who she is and what she's interested in doing. She's very artistic, she's very creative, she likes to draw, and when we're doing our work, I think it's okay to be able to let her to wander off, at the table, and maybe if we're talking about horses or something like that, she could draw horses, and she has a little more freedom to express herself than you would in a traditional school setting.
Other common reasons parents homeschool their children are religious or moral reasons, disagreement with the curriculum of their school district or the way public schools are run, different teaching philosophies, the desire to foster the growth of a gifted child, or to give special attention to a special needs child.
Some of us may homeschool to be able to guide them and place them in the environments that we think is more appropriate for them.
In addition to her roles as mom and teacher, Diane is the editor of the Long Island Homeschool News, a monthly online newspaper. She started to share resources with other homeschoolers.
The idea for the Homeschool News really came from this constant need to find resources, and then when I found them, I love to share it with people. The reason why I started it as well was to bring a positive light to the homeschooling community, share all these resources, provide support, provide a place where people could share information where they didn't feel they need to be judged.
But you don't have to start a paper to start homeschooling.
I think it's just something that kind of comes from inside as far as being qualified, because I think if you feel you can do it, you can do it. I don't think there's any real quote-unquote qualification except that, you feel this is the best thing for your child.
Just make sure you check out your state's homeschool laws. A good place to start is your state's Department of Education website. Different states have different levels of regulation when it comes to homeschooling, so you want to make sure you're taking the right steps when starting out. There are many ways to homeschool, from conservative and traditional to liberal and unstructured. Diane describes her style as eclectic.
The eclectic would be a mix of everything. You kind of look at all the different methods, you learn about all the different methods, and you pick and choose what you think applies to your child.
Though at home, Diane uses her school district's curriculum, provided to homeschoolers free of charge.
Right now, she's learning how to read, she's learning how to write, so I know that she's in line with everybody else.
To find other curriculums, Diane suggests searching online.
It's a massive amount of things that are out there and available for people. You just have to look for it and find the people that are doing the same thing you're doing or have the same interests you're doing and see what everyone's doing.
But education doesn't end at the kitchen table. In addition to field trips, Nicole takes ballet, tap, theater, religion, and other classes.
Yeah, there's everything. There's glass making, there's ceramic workshops, there's some homeschoolers that are doing archaeological dig, music classes, everything and anything you could possibly imagine. Knitting, sewing, kite flying, reptile classes, trips to the zoos, the parks. I mean, it's limitless. It's whatever interests people. They set up a field trip and you go.
The Tuccis are also part of several homeschooling groups in the area, which act as support systems for homeschoolers.
Yahoo groups is the way that we pretty much communicate. They're meant to be support groups where we talk about issues, legal issues, questions about, my kid's not learning to write yet. Do you guys think this is normal? Just, a lot of normal mom chat. And then this is where we set up all our field trips and classes.
And being a part of these groups gives Nicole plenty of opportunity to socialize with other children.
We have more socialization than I can handle. The benefit is that we're able to pick and choose our friends and find the people that have similar interests and common interests with our children and who play nicely together.
Diane admits that homeschooling Nicole while also caring for her younger siblings, ages 4 and 2, can be a challenge. But she says the biggest challenge homeschoolers face is judgment from others.
There's a lot of negative response, people in your family. You know, it's really hard when you don't have family members that support it and they call you up and they're like, so, you still doing that homeschooling thing? You haven't given up on it yet? I'm like, no, you know, I mean, you have to realize the homeschooling is a lifestyle. I haven't given up on it. It's like saying, you know, have you given up on your kid yet?
Diane says she doesn't feel like her children are missing out on anything.
I think most of the things that we might miss out on in typical school, when you really think about what they are and their traditions, you know, we're not really missing out on anything because we have this incredibly full life otherwise.
And she's confident they'll be ready for college when the time comes.
They find homeschoolers from high school going into college are more mature and more well-adjusted. So a independent learner, more mature, more well-adjusted, is actually pretty much an ideal student for a higher school.